Hello, YouTube. Welcome. This is Jovan, also known as JC Stylish Styles. How are you today? Today is August the 16th, 2021. Today is going to be day one where I explain to you my journey of the last 7 years and everything that I've been through. Um, I don't believe that everything's going to be in order as I continue uh, giving this information. However, I'm going to give you the information. And I know today, with being the first day of my storytelling, I am going to start from the beginning. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to do a prayer so that everything has its most purest of intentions moving forward. To keep everything in order, in reference to the prayer, making sure that my mindset is right, I just wanted to think out my prayer and then I wrote it down so that way we can pray on it together moving forward so that you can receive whatever there is you need to receive, and then I can give whatever there is that I need to give. So this is prayer time. Let's take a moment in prayer. I come before you, God, and the universe today to help guide me in giving my truth. So I will heal my mind, my body, and soul while helping others. I'm asking to be used as a vessel to enlighten those in need. I'm asking for a clear mind and heart. Please allow my intentions to remain pure and positive as we build a safe space for sisterhood and unity. Please allow these words to be used as a tool to bringing back someone's quality of life. Though my journey has been alone, I'm looking to pick up my family as I continue my journey building my family. I'm allowing you to fully immerse yourself into me so work may be done. Yes, Divine God created the heavens and earth, so I lean on the universe's elements: earth, air, fire, and water. I ask to remain grounded in earth while moving in my purpose, allowing the air, allowing the fire and desire to fuel me forward, leaving the past behind. That's the fire. While learning to be flexible, learning wisdom, peace, and purity. That's the water. I'm open and ready to receive and give. Amen. So now that the prayer is done, I want to start off by story. Day one goes all the way back to June 2014. So June 2014, I set out to relocate from Delaware to from Wilmington, Delaware from Wilmington, Delaware to Atlanta. I want to say Atlantic City. From Wilmington, Delaware to Atlanta, Georgia, back in June 2004. So when I gave up everything, I gave up all of my foundation in Wilmington, Delaware, and I brought it to a close. We had a going away party. Everything was beautiful. At the time, I had 2 children. My oldest was in the 8th grade. And I honestly forgot how old my youngest was in at the time. But I do know that my oldest was in the 8th grade. The reason why I remember her being in the 8th grade was because the day of the going away party, the relocation party, I chose to celebrate the relocation party the day of her 8th grade formal, due to, if we're going to have people at the house anyway, then let's just go ahead and just combine everything and make it a big party. So that's why I'm for sure that she was in 8th grade in 2014, came June. So June 2014, I was supposed to relocate. Exact dates unknown, but that's the month and that is the year. However, prior to relocating, I had discovered that I was expecting a child, which would have been my 3rd child at the time. In doing so and getting prepared to relocate down to Atlantic, getting prepared to relocate down to the ATL, I end up experiencing where I was loss of blood in the vaginal area. So in the midst of the loss of blood in the vaginal area, I ended up having to go to the ER, which they told me I was supposed to have been leaving the next day. The next day of me experiencing all of a sudden this loss of blood, I was supposed to be leaving and driving down to the ATL to make that my permanent residence. So I ended up in the ER that night where they did all the tests. Long story short, they said that I would have had to wait for 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks get more tests done again, and then I would have had to compare my ER visit results to my 2 week later results to see if I was even still carrying a child or if I miscarried. That was very hard for me to hear, as I've never experienced any type of situation with a miscarriage or a loss of a child. So to know that it's a possibility that this blood loss the results may be a loss of a child, it was hard to, oh my goodness. Okay, I am recording. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I didn't hit the record button. Okay, having these feelings of experiencing a loss of a child, it was hard to accept, but I was focused. I was so focused and gung-ho on relocating down to the ATL. Now, what took me to the ATL? Love. Love took me to the ATL. So what ended up happening was my first child, I rekindled with her father. So now I was pregnant with my possible third child. So whereas my first and my third child would share the same father. So for a week, I ended up staying at a girlfriend's house, me and my 2 children. That was very hard to do as I was still experiencing blood loss. I wasn't feeling well, and I was scared of messing in her bed. She gave up her bed to allow me to stay in the bed. I just felt uncomfortable with invading in her space and her privacy. So after about a week, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and go down Georgia, because that's where all my information is now at. So I need to get down there, and I need to find a doctor in Georgia. So I ended up leaving after a week of still being in Wilmington, Delaware, and everyone thinking that I was in Atlanta, yet I was experiencing something, but I wasn't sure exactly what it was I was experiencing. But I just knew I was experiencing a lot of blood loss, and I did know I was pregnant, but I didn't announce it yet. Oh, so shout out to Miss Carlette and Miss Roz for sitting in the ER with me that night of the scare, because I didn't know. And I mean, they were there. I leaned on them, and they were there to lean on. And I, much gratitude, much appreciation. I thank you. So now, fast forward, I come down to the ATL. So when I move down to the ATL, I now have to get things established. So as I'm getting things established, after I get down to the ATL, so about a couple days later, I start feeling fantastic. I mean, I feel amazing. So I felt like, okay, I must have lost a child. So because I've lost this child, this is why I now feel amazing. And okay, but before I jump the gun, I'm just going to go ahead and do everything I still need to do prior to jumping the gun and assuming something. At the time, the baby's father was saying, well, I still feel as though you're pregnant because X, Y, and Z, but I'm feeling fantastic. I went from feeling like down in the dumps to amazing. So my thing is, what changed? And other than now, I'm no longer bleeding, and I'm now feeling fantastic. So Georgia is a piece of work to find health care for. It was not easy getting someone on the phone in Georgia. As far as a receptionist, I'm used to speaking with people in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm used to when I call businesses, doctor's offices, I'm used to speaking with a receptionist. In Georgia, it's a lot of answer machines. You are talking to an answer machine at almost every visit. It was unbelievable. I could not get a person on the phone. Then as people called back and I shared the insurance I had, it was either they didn't take that insurance, they didn't take any more patients at the time, they weren't taking any more patients at the time, or what else? They may have been too far out to where I wasn't ready to journey and travel exactly yet. So I ended up finding this doctor within 5 minutes away from me that was located right on the outskirts of the Northside Hospital. So I ended up being located on Roswell Road in Fulton County, inside the perimeter. I think that's how it went. So, okay. So I was at Fulton County. I was on Roswell Road. I was in Atlanta, but I was like on the borderline of Atlanta. Oh, I can't think of what that other. I want to say Springfield, but it's not Springfield. It's another. I was on the borderline of Atlanta, and it's another city. I can't call the name right now. But anyway, but I was considered in the perimeter, and I believe that was considered in the circle. So I was inside the perimeter. So I found a doctor that was located right outside of Northside Hospital. So once he took me on as a patient and I went, my first visit that I went, I felt amazing. So I went to this doctor's office and I'm like, look, I really don't believe that I'm still pregnant. There's no way I can be pregnant. I feel amazing, but if I'm not pregnant, then I just need to be told that so that I can deal with whatever I need to deal with within myself and then move on in life. So we goes in and, you got to take the pregnancy test. And then because I was a patient that relocated from state to state, here I now sit in a doctor's office and he wants to do a ultrasound to see how far along I am. So he goes to do an ultrasound. My daughter goes with me on a visit. At the time, this is my oldest daughter. So, well, she's always my oldest daughter, but she's my oldest daughter. So she went to the visit with me. She was in a room with me. When I went to the ER, they told me in the ultrasound, from the ultrasound results, I was 6 weeks and 5 days. By the time I make it and find a doctor and get into the office in Atlanta, by the time he did all the tests, he told me, no, he was on an ultrasound and I was looking at the screen and I remember thinking, I may not be no doctor, but that fetus is extremely small for it to be going into its second trimester, because I should have been 13 weeks by this time. By the day that I was in that office, I should have been 13 weeks. The results that he then told me was, congratulations, you're now 5 weeks and 6 days pregnant. That don't add up. When I was in Wilmington, Delaware, I was 6 weeks, 5 days. I'm in Atlanta, I'm 5 weeks, 6 days. Those sound similar, those sound the same, but am I making a mistake or are you making a mistake? One of us is making a mistake here. Come to find out, I did miscarry. So the experience that I experienced in Wilmington, Delaware was a miscarriage. However, somewhere in them 5 weeks of me being in Georgia, I was intimate. So the way the doctor explained it to me was, I lost that child in the midst of me being intimate within them 5 weeks. The minute I ovulated, I got pregnant immediately. So now I'm pregnant again. So my child is now considered a rainbow baby because of me immediately getting pregnant right after a miscarriage. So now I'm getting this information and I don't know how to feel, because I'm being told that I've lost a child, but I'm expecting a child. So I didn't know whether to be sad or happy. I didn't know how to feel. So I remember my daughter Imani saying, that's weird. This is stuff that only happens in movies. And I just looked at her and I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know. I just sat there in confusion because I was feeling like I gave him the wrong information. And I'm trying to play back, what did I give him? Did I give him the wrong of my last cycle? Did I give him the wrong in the results of what they told me at the ER? But then it's like I gave him all my paperwork. What am I experiencing here? Long story short, I'm pregnant again. So now that I'm pregnant again, okay, That is that. I'm pregnant. So I am pregnant with my fourth child, but I lost a child. So I'm pregnant with my third child. That was the beginning when I first got down there within the first 5 weeks, first 6 weeks of being in Georgia. At the time, I did start working at this salon on Roswell Road. It was a unisex salon. It was a barbershop in the front, and it was a beauty salon in the back. I honestly forgot the name of it. I worked there for some weeks. I ran some specials. If anybody remembers that I had the special where it was like 50% off the 6 locks install. So I had ran that special. I had some clients fly in from several states to come in, be serviced. It was good. Everything was going great. Everything was, fantastic. Amazing. I'm building my clientele. I'm feeling wonderful. I'm trying to get this thing established. We're in the ATL now, and I have my children in school. My daughter was she was in the 9th grade, and she was in the school, I think it was called Roswell. I think the school was called Roswell. Something. I think it started with R. I don't know. I forgot. I honestly have serious brain fog from my surgery. So anyway, she was in the 9th grade. That was her freshman year. And I think the school started with an R. And then my son was in another school. He was in elementary, and he was in the 1st grade. Yes, 1st or 2nd grade. One of them. I'm sorry. I truly apologize. I honestly have brain fog. So anyway, I had got them both in school. So they were getting settled. I was getting settled. Everything was good. What else do I have to tell you about the beginning? I think that's pretty much it in the beginning. That's how it all. I'm trying to let you know that how it all got started. That was it. And then I think the next time I come on is when I'm going to start telling you when I started having complications and things. But as of right now, it's 17 minutes. I want to break, because it's 7 years is a long time. So I don't want to try to give y'all 2 hours, 3 hours of a conversation at once. I just want to go ahead and give it to y'all in pieces. And then y'all can piece together and watch what y'all need to watch. But preferably, I would like you to watch from video 1 to video whatever, so that you can be well rounded and understanding where I am today and why I'm where I am. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. Yes, I think that was it. I cannot remember my doctor's name. I would have to go through my important papers to find her paperwork with the doctor name and stuff on it. But I do know that she was born at Northside Hospital. And I do know that the doctor was maybe like a block down, and he was partners with the hospital, but his office was maybe a block down. He was an awesome doctor. Awesome. Now, what's different about Wilmington doctor's offices? What's different about Delaware doctor's offices compared to Georgia doctor's offices are? In Delaware, when we go see the OBGYN, we can go see the OBGYN, and the most they have is the rolling ultrasound that they can come in, and then they have the Doppler for the heartbeat. If you need lab work, you have to go to another location. If you need any type of in-depth ultrasound, you need to go to another location. At the time, our area didn't have that many midwives nor doulas, so that wasn't nowhere in my vocabulary or circle or life, or never fell upon my eardrum. So I do remember we had a birthing center, but I've never heard chatter about it to be able to have an opinion about it. And then blood work up Delaware, you have to go to another location to get blood work, but all of these services were in one location in Georgia. It was down this hall was the doctor. Down this hall was the ultrasound. Down this hall was the midwife. Down this hall was the phlebotomist. It was perfect. It was like, you have to go get blood work done. So I was like, okay, well, where's my location for blood work? Where do I have to go? It's like, oh, just turn the corner and go down the hall. Are you serious? You mean right here? I can stay in-house and I don't have to go. Wow. I love that. Go ahead, Georgia. Delaware got to step their game up, because Delaware, I have to leave that location. If I'm not at the hospital, I'll have to leave that location, get in my car, go to LabCorp, Quest, some type of diagnostic place. I will have to go get some type of ultrasound imaging, x-ray done at another type of, I will have to go to all these different separate locations, whereas in Georgia, everything was in one office, which was amazing. And that brings me to an end. I think that's the beginning of the story. I'll come before you tomorrow and I'll continue. Please subscribe. Please comment. Please welcome me back. I look forward to hearing from you. We will get into the hair stuff. We will get into the life stuff. We will get into all stylish stuff. But I just have to come before you and explain to you why it is that I disappeared. I don't want you to think that I abandoned you. I don't want you to think that I started something and I stopped. I just really want to explain myself, because that's not the type of person that I am. But the situation and what life brought before me at the time, it wasn't in sync with what I had set out to do. So, in return, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification button. This is JC Stylish Styles. I look forward to sharing my story with you. I look forward to reading your comments. Welcome me back. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for even listening and being a part of this journey. Until tomorrow or next time, peace and blessings.